All right, are you ready to break free from the system and choose your own adventure? I'm Dr. Dave, the Mind of Dave podcast. And today, our special guest, really cool journey that he's been on. He has gone through making his own armor for LARPing when he was in high school to shifting into powerlifting. And in such a crazy way, he's held 10 world records in grip strength, 6 American powerlifting records. He bends and tears things like frying pans and phone books, which is really fun to watch him do. He's also been featured on Spike TV's Deadliest Warriors as a powerlifter. And now he's pioneering health and wellness through electricity and frequency medicines. Welcome, Clay. Super excited to have you here. And this is all about choosing your own adventure. So I want to start back at the beginning and tell me about your LARPing days of when you were into making your own medieval armor. And first of all, what got you into that? And then what shifted you away from that?
It started when I was about a year old. My dad started one of the, for lack of a better term, like a street gang. When that got a little bit too hot, when I was 12 or 13, they shifted into, hey, we all like medieval things. We don't want to be going with costs anymore. Let's make armor, like have these tournaments. And it started with me at age 13, fighting grown men, wearing like a motorcycle helmet, like 55-gallon drum, like body armor with like
Oh my
that
God.
and a shield. Any teenager should not be doing that, even though I was a bigger kid. It didn't go well at first, and then it went very well as I learned that, hey, the better armor I make, the better I protect myself, and the better skills I learn, the better shape I get into, the better chance I have against, who are essentially men in their 30s and have lower ridges. And
Yeah, so you like literally were part of a fight club.
it was an actual fight club, like a medieval fight club. We had these tournaments once a year. Sometimes in the winter, we had practices and things like that. And I would go play with other groups like the SCA, a very big, well-known group, or do like medieval martial arts expos and symposiums and learn different things. And I realized from the very beginning that you got to be in some better shape to survive those things with any kind of success.
You are not a person to be messed with.
Oh, right. I would say I got big, so I wouldn't have to fight anymore. And so that's
Right.
why weights.
I know you as the gentle giant, so this is it's always fun to hear these backstories. So what got you into powerlifting then? I mean, it makes somewhat of a logical transition, but to hang up your hat and stop making armor and doing these fighting things, what got you into the next level, so to speak, of not turning into the 30-year-old who was still fighting?
When I had my first son, Clyde, I was 22, 23 years old. I started about 6'5" or 6'6" on a warm day. And at that time, I was pushing around 430 pounds, well over 55% body fat, just like really unhealthy. I worked fast food jobs. And I was eating my regular dinners 3 times a day or 5 times a day. And I realized I need to get into better shape. I went to this gym in my hometown and discovered that I liked deadlifting. I found this book called Dinosaur Training on kind of eschewing the 3x8 bodybuilding style, bicep curls 8 different ways, lift thick barbells, lift cans full of sand, lift stones. And that sounded really cool to me. And I shared a conversation with my dad one time where we were watching World's Strongest Man. I was talking about what I might do with my life and like going to get in better shape. And I said, yeah, I think I want to join the military. Those guys are in great shape. Basic training looks like, you gotta run, do pull-ups, I'll do my best. And my dad goes, you're going to die during basic training. No, I'll do it. He wants to the TV and some strong man lifting a stone or pulling a truck. He goes, you're a big guy. You should be doing that. With your going on TV. It took me a while to let that marinate. But as I got into the gym, I found, going from feeling ashamed about my body size to feeling more power and finding that I was able to lift more weight than other people. Like in the deadlift, my first day deadlifting, and I did a whole 405. It's 445-pound plates on bar. Some people never get to that level. Although it was almost my body weight, it still was a heavy weight, or you got some attention. I learned online that there was a group that trained strongmen about 2 hours north of where I lived in Salinas, California. So I'd go there on some days and we'd flip tires and do farmer's carries on the stones. And it beat me like no other workout had. That was kind of a seasonal thing. You go in the summertime, or the fall, it was nicer. And naturals was around October, November. But then you had about 6 months until I started to get, I got any powerlifting tips, how I keep my body stronger, to continue to find like healthy habits in the gym, to continue to find new ways to feel empowerment in this body I was most ashamed of. And I
Yeah.
went from 430 pounds down to 275 for the course of about
Wow.
a year and a half. I mean, doing it in all the ways that were not sustainable, like the Atkins diet. I remember the Atkins diet, like the low
Yeah.
carb, less cheeseburgers with mustard. You know, that was it all the time. Horse diet, RC cola. So then you feeling like, oh, not only am I doing okay, losing weight, feeling better with myself, I'm actually like not that bad at strength stuff. In my first strongman contest, I took second. I qualified for nationals. And I thought, am I good at this? What's good? Am I going to do this again? And then my first powerlifting meet, I set like a state record with a 640-pound deadlift. And I thought, am I going to be good at this? Is this a thing? I wasn't athletic in high school. I was on the second string of the football team. I was a long snapper for one play, so I muffed that out. I played golf from the spring for the high school, and I was, like, third on our team who were the worst in the county. So it wasn't like I was any kind of athletic phenomenon. And even still, like, if you get to play, here's a 2-year-old, let's have a foot race, be like, when they get like a 3-step head start just to make sure I can get on this going. Because I wasn't ever really athletic, but I just kept showing up to these things and trying to lift a little bit heavier, trying to like want myself enough to say, okay, I think I'm okay with this. I want to do a little better. I have a long year. I'm enjoying this. And that led me to some really interesting places like this.
Yeah.
October will be my strength competition over the course of the last 21 years. It is the World Group Strength Championships in Las Vegas, Colombia.
Oh, wow. Crazy. Before we get into that, because that's just phenomenal, mind-blowing, I want to go back and help our listeners. There's so much problems that we all have as a society of getting into the gym and feeling that self-conscious component. What was it for the first 2 months, would you say, that kept you going to that gym, even though you felt like you weren't in place until you started, there's an obvious traction that you had that overcomes that component while you're in there. But those first 2 months, what drove you to keep going to the gym? Like what was it for you that made you stick going?
I remember there was a few things. One was the guy that signed me up at the gym. He tried to really sell me on personal training. And I said, I don't want it. I can't afford it. It's not for me. And he looked good when he looked at me up and down. And he kind of tilted his head and he goes, you're never going to be able to do it by yourself. You need help. And that really like hit me there. But I'm too fat. I don't belong here enough to where I need professional help. I don't think he mentioned it as an insult. He was just reacting to the conversation. I don't know. My wife at the time wasn't super supportive. We didn't have like healthy habits at home. I just didn't see feel a lot of support. And friends were like, great, you're going to the gym. If it's really unhealthy, one of my best friends was like, well, it's not time, because
Oh yeah.
he like slaps my belly and he goes, yeah, you ready to lose this thing? I just found that between the negative reinforcement of, I want to prove these people wrong, that I do have a good slot in this gym, and the inspiration that both dinosaur training, that what I was doing was different than what everybody else was doing. And because it was different, I could not compare myself to anybody else in the gym. Without comparisons, I had no reason to have my joy stolen to say, well, he's doing a 400-pound stone. I can only do a 200-pound stone. Therefore, he's better than me. Nobody was doing thick barbell deadlifts in the gym. Nobody was doing like dumbbell snatches that I was doing. And just little things that were a little more unorthodox. I kind of found the things I enjoyed doing, and that made me feel like I had a place in the gym, irrespective of what was going on around me. It was like our occasion a bit of a problem when I had like a big gym bag and there was chalk spilling out, or I had knee wraps here and a belt over there, and I felt like I don't want to take too much of everybody else's space. But at the same time, I felt like I needed to. I needed to kind of like go sit in the corner of that room where the rack was, work as hard as I could, and keep proving to myself and anybody else who was ever watching or didn't think maybe I had this one, to keep doing it over and over again. And it's taken me literally around the world since then.
Wow. That is super inspirational. And I can't say enough, like that is true dedication to wanting to make the change. That is very inspirational to hear. So thank you for sharing that. That's definitely, it's not easy for a lot of people to even pinpoint the basics of why they kept going, but you have very concrete thought process behind it. So that's appreciated. So now let's jump into the training, because you get to the point where you're bending frying pans and nails. You have like a bolt named after you because you were the first person in the world to bend a bolt. And how in the heck did you get into something like that? I mean, like, I've literally watched you crumple up a frying pan to make it look like a taco, and it's the most crazy thing ever. So how did you get into that?
In a quest to be good at something different, in that same book, Dinosaur Training, there's mentions of kind of the 20 islands of involvability and those old-time strongmen, like the Mighty Atom or Slim Foreman, or even guys like All-Olympian John Davis, who performed, he could clean dirt 300 plus pounds. He could also carry deck of cards in that. Those things were fascinating to me, and they felt so out of reach. Like, I would never have the specific strength required to carry deck of cards. And it wasn't until, I saw closely like David Blaine, a magician, on one of his stream videos. He's like, let me show you a trick in his usual, like, quiet, monotone, creepy way. And he had the guy take a card, and he tore the deck of cards in half, and and it was a joke, put the card back in, and oh, here's your card. That's stupid. And I wanted to try it immediately. And it was like, starting with, when we had phone books, back in my day, we had phone books, and the yellow pages were up to 2 inches, 2.5 inches thick. You take and kind of break them along the sides. They were about 1.5 inches thick, and then practice starting them. And as that works well, you get another phone book from the grocery store, another phone book. Eventually, I ended up reaching out to a local distributor of phone books and got a pallet delivered to my apartment. I had like over 1,000 phone books in the dining room. Couldn't eat in the dining room. My wife at the time was pissed. And it just was like, well, that's cool. I can do a deck of cards, throw a lot of deck of cards, plus 5 funds, or a deck still in the box, or a deck long ways. Can I tear a deck of cards just a quarter of the deck torn out? Can I wrap it in duct tape and tear it? Can I tear it, lay out a bed of nails? Can I, just like, what? I'm so curious, and open to the idea that I could do something that I never felt limited by anything other than my imagination.
Wow. Yeah, that's fun. I mean, that just brings me joy just thinking about that. So for everyone out there, you can all blame Clay on the reason why phone books no longer exist, because he tore them all.
You think it was the internet? Really, I just caused it.
That's right. A massive shortage. Phone book tearing, people. All right. Well, so now you're into health and wellness. So take me from being the best in the world at all of these different things to what happened on why you got into electricity and frequency medicine.
I was training for my first World Group Strength Championships. It was in St. Petersburg, Russia. And I was at the gym doing my list and playing on my elbow bothering me. I developed pretty bad tendonitis in my right elbow. The guy at the gym said, oh, you got to go to Westlake. We're in Austin, Texas. Go to Westlake. There's a place called Music. Like a TENS unit, but it's on steroids. It's crazy. It's powerful. It should fix you. It helped me a lot with special pain. I said, oh, that's great. Things on steroids usually are better than things not on steroids. So let's go check that out. And I've done physical therapy. At this point, I'm like 15 years into the competitive strength athlete. I've been to a few different countries. I've had some state and national world records under my belt. I've owned a gym. I've approached 5 powerlifting world championships. I've seen the inside of a physical therapist's office about as much as I've seen the inside of a gym at this point. Like, because you do got to get tuned up quite a bit. Yeah. And every one of these PTs and towers and specialist coaches says, I can fix you. Let's see you twice a week for 3 months until your insurance runs out, and then we'll see what happens after that. And I go to New Fit in Westlake, and I get the diagnostic scan on their direct current TENS unit, and the practitioner is this like crazy-haired former bodybuilder who's in his 50s, is about 5'5", real thick, East Texas twang in his voice. But I'm going to mess it up when I say it. I said, well, what is it, doc? He's not a doctor. He's a rehab guy. What is it, doc? Is it fatal? Is it chronic? Can you fix me? And he kind of scratches his chin and he goes, I can do it in 5 sessions. And I thought, that's nonsense. That's BS. There's no way you can take, after this full body hotspot scanning where they find the areas where I'm not getting nerve signal in my body, areas that are causing me pain and range of motion issues, is either able to turn all of those on in 5 sessions when, frankly, I've had really good physical therapists work with me for weeks or months and kind of get some of it. This guy's talking about he's going to cure me and make me better, make me stronger. I said, all right, well, it's on you then. Here's 5 active sessions. Let's do it in 5 sessions. That's what the fixed me up in 4. Every hospital wasn't good, so he was able to get it turned on permanently using this direct current TENS device, the new Nui. And I was able to, like, my inflammation went down, my joint pain was gone after the first session. I was moving better. I had shoulder joints at this point. I had an arthroscopy in my right knee, my leg had atrophied. That was coming back. We weren't even doing work. I was just able to train on the next idea. And for the fifth session, I thought, well, what can we do now? Like, I'm good. What's next? He goes, well, let's work out. And so the new fit clinic has a gym built into it with these cable pulleys and some barbells and some free weights. And I was so sore after that workout. And Steve, as a bodybuilder, was a maniac on the dial. He would crank it up until you almost not moved, and then make you do as much weight as you could with the best form you could. And that's how I train now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being so sore. It must have been 7 or 8 days on my shoulders and chest. I thought, like, will I ever not be sore again? And also, how do I get this sore again? This was amazing. I'm so hooked on it. Then I went to Russia, and I had 170 athletes. I stood on the podium 4 times out of the 6 events. And all those events, I set a world record. I got 2 golds and a silver. And when I came back, I said, like, how are you ordering these machines? And they said, well, they're expensive outside of my price. We both know what they cost, but and I said, well, how do I get access to them? And they said, we're hiring from this person. And so in this high-end boutique, like really well done, manicured, clean, curated, Westlake, Austin, bougie facility, featuring my 6'5", 300-pound cells with a big beard, my glasses, welcoming you when you walk into the office.
Yeah.
I'm not admin jobs before. I can chat a fair amount. I went to a business school. I made it work. Then ended up putting COVID hit. I worked from home. I kind of found my way into a marketing manager position on the other side of the company that sold the devices to chiropractors and physical therapists, and found some success in creating marketing campaigns. I had to dig real deep into like the science behind and the engineering behind direct current electrical stimulation, because that's better than alternating current. And if you're curious, vastly better. Like alternating current is like an electric aspirin. Direct current is real re-education of the nervous system. And as I found more of these things and excused myself as a guinea pig, this stuff is amazing. Everyone needs to feel this way. Like I was pretty much done with my strength sports. More accurately, they were done with me. So my body pain, range of motion was terrible in some phase. I couldn't squat low parallel with the powerlifting anymore because of my knees and hips. And so through working there and having access to those devices, I mean, for less than a year, I was back. I won nationals 2 more times after that in powerlifting, because they will sort of get from pain to wellness and from wellness to power again while I was on this pain continuum. And that led me to more the same kind of curiosity with no limitation of the mind animation. What else is out there? Well, I'm learning about PEMS, infrared light, sound therapy, light therapy. Even most kind of ability for me is a frequency specific microcurrent, taking 2 channels of pulse electrical currents to treat specific conditions like arthritis or carpal tunnel, even complex neurological phase like Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis. That whole world of frequency-specific therapies opened me up to, God, like the body is like a big paint by numbers. Little radio dials, little tunes, little frequencies all throughout all the different organs, the blood and the brain and the skin. And if I could just tune in, eat these frequencies to each one of these conditions, I can affect people's health in that one way. The tricky part was getting a correct medical history put together. People say, "We're here for my shoulder." Well, why are your shoulder? I think I have a strained AC joint. That joint is 480 hertz to work on that, and like there's no change in it. Well, what else was going on? Oh, I hurt my shoulder after I got like a yellow fever shot that I was going to Kenya on missionary trip. So I was working on the toxicity for a vaccine. And at the time, I just got fired from my job, so I was worried about, like making money. Well, there's an emotional component treating certain organs of the body for traditional Chinese medicine. And so you kind of like start unrolling people's medical history through endless curiosity and imagination again.
Yes.
And trying to get like a better picture of what the root cause of the issue is. And the further back you can get the information, treat forward to the shoulder, the more likely that shoulder is to get better and never bother them again. And so I'm still obsessed about learning this language of the few specific therapies, even to the point where I made my own device, and I'm working on doing that for as well.
Yes. Childlike wonder you have. And nonstop, it is a beautiful equation. What keeps you in that state? Like, do you have to constantly remind yourself? Because I know as I age, it's easy to fall into habits, and it's easy to fall into thinking that you know things. What for you is that thing that keeps you with this childlike wonder? Do you have to constantly like have affirmations to remind yourself? What drives you that way?
It used to be client outcomes, and it used to be sporting practitioners who get close to their patients and clients and thinking like, wow, I get great advice. That's really motivating for me to keep doing it. But that was me kind of like putting out that is lacking in motivation to put back in, learning new things. And so I guess I kind of use the same, to keep going on the theme here, the same kind of curiosity and the same, nobody else is doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it. I was doing at gym for energy medicine, for current medicine. So thinking about integrating the direct current device, new technology with frequency specific microcurrent or with PEMF, and just taking all the different ingredients and making different recipes. I mean, how many medicine dishes can you make from the same 7 ingredients? 500, right? And they're all just because they all have the same ingredients in different levels. In much the same way, all these different devices and technologies can be used at different points in treatment therapies. They can be used different intensities, different intentions with treating specific conditions. And there's just so much that I feel compelled to learn from and dig deeper into kind of electro-herbalism of it all. There's some really great, a little bit of history loves in some capacities. So reading kind of turn of the century works from like Abrams and even more recently Van Gelder on these electrical stimulation currents and what they do to the cells when delivered at a microcurrent level. That it's also fascinating to me. And then when you realize like, I see it too in the weeds here, like our bodies are more energy than they are physical form, or more wave than they are particle. The atoms in our body are 0.149% electromagnetic energy, and the rest is particle. And I mean, when I learned that, wow, like I really have an energetic being who needs to be tuned in by these devices in my own conscious mind and intentional thought patterns. And you become limitless in many ways. You find, like to work with, Joe Dispenza's work, talking about the placebo, I mean, simply natural, where you're using kind of your own intention and mindset and manifestation or not as a coordination to alleviate chronic pain or to overcome grief or PTSD. Those things are real. And whether it's BS or not, the outcome is the same. And when you combine that kind of work with the technology to help support it, and now getting into incorporating functional medicine testing, genetic testing, and supporting that work, you start to see people break through plateaus in hours instead of months. Or they're able to, you charm them right now and they can open their store for the first time in 15, 20 years. And you go like, my God, it's this whole time it's been energy. It's electricity. Our bodies are electric and they're electromagnetic fields coming out of us all times. And if we can find a way to retune those through our own conscious minds and through technologies to assist that, and medicines or vitamins to support that, then we can return to like a natural, healthy state. Many of us aren't in.
Yeah. How do you?
I'll always remind you that in my fingers. That's like a personal
right. Yeah, let's do it.
It help my grip training because all these handles of gravity and grip training are metal. So magnetic hands means I get to tap on those things. So,
that's right.
But it's really for me. The whole thing is for me.
And does it help to rub your feet on the carpet beforehand so that you get the electrostatic?
It depends on my level VIP consulting.
Okay. Perfect.
It's about $9,000 a month. Oh, sorry. It's $3,330 a month.
Yeah. I am honestly waiting for you to build a Tesla coil in your house. Like, we'll have to start to go gather some copper wire for you and by the truckload and see you wind together miles of copper wire.
I forgot one device I want to build, but I won't talk about it anything publishable.
Yeah, perfect. Love it. We'll put a pin in that one. So how do you find time for all of this? It's, especially like I'm in the same boat as you, we're about the same age as, we've got kids, we've got all these other things to do. Like, how do you structure your life to keep this curiosity time frame open, to keep the education going? Because it's obviously super easy to not allow time for this curiosity to actually even come out and to just sit down and watch Game of Thrones, right? And so how do you schedule this? How do you think about it from a framework of continuing this curiosity into all of these new things?
It's been a challenge sometimes because I'm a dad figure some of the time for my son half the week. Until recently I was out in the dating world and dinners and drinks and food places. And now I'm locked down and, not locked down, like, but
Uh-oh, it's recorded.
here, here's the lock. It's me through the bars of the cage, locking me from the inside.
There you
That's,
go.
that's what I'm
Okay.
doing. I said I wanted this a long time. So previously I was alone most of the time at home. I was alone, and I could work till, sort of clients at 6, 7 a.m., finish by 4 or 5 p.m., get a nice to eat, shift gears, put on the kind of the content creation hat, write in the book, work on the device, send emails regarding the ODOT company. I started last year. And around 9 or 10 o'clock, kind of shut it down, mentally go do about an hour of what I call idiot time, which is like TikTok scrolling or video switch. And then
Yeah.
when I don't have any, if you do enough throughout the day, physically and mentally, and emotionally, energetically, you won't lay in bed not being able to sleep. You'll be wrecked.
Yeah. It's a great
Totally gone.
philosophy.
And then I feel like I've done my man's purpose for the day. I've like had a great meal. I had a workout. I help people. I created something that others are going to use to help themselves. And yeah, I was a father that day, so that's all I can do. Motivation, maybe here in the future, it's like really into cohabitating with my future wife and having like children around more often, and not as many quiet solo spaces. So
Yep.
I'll check you in a year and let you know how I'm doing with that.
Right.
I do value like solo time quite a bit. I love my partner; she's amazing. We've talked about like we're loving doing the hit, but we're also needing our own separate time to pursue our own, just to still alone for a day. And that's unfortunate that when I get to drive to certain gyms with places that are half an hour away, it's great time to think. The tour radio often just think, not really think about things that you need to do, just let your mind wander, explore ideas and concepts. And those things, put little browser tab open and like write anything that work, close out by the end of the night. So I'm more focused as I have the time to like be intentional with, well, I wanted to pursue this home health idea. I wanted to send an email on the jellyfish device that we made. And then when I get home, it's not like, what do I do for all the businesses I'm running? It's I have those things in my mind locked down and I can push them out quickly and then go into idiot time.
Yeah. So piggybacking off of this, how do you plan long term? Is that something that even enters your brain, or you just get obsessed with things and keep rolling with it until it kind of starts to fizzle out? Because obviously what you've been doing for 20 years, you probably did not expect to do it for 20 years of powerlifting. Like, how does your brain operate as far as you start to get addicted to something? Are you thinking, oh, I'm going to be doing this for 5 years? Like, where is that for you?
It's a good question. It's always an evolution. Like my own personal weight loss journey and empowerment turned into coaching others, owning a gym, selling a gym, consulting on gym startups, now being a trainer and having a staff of 4 or 5 people and using the big device with them. I don't know that there's an end to it. I think that in many cases over the years, I've evolved out of the obsession with those things by either automating their kind of creation, like the workout program I do for clients. I've got 5 or 6 years of the workout programs already mapped out for people.
Yeah.
At the time, I say about 4, or it's to delegate to find an operations person who can appear on the Slack and say, hey, will you send me an email about the jellyfish device? Will you look at this day, what home healthcare? I don't want to be eyes down on the desk in the weeks day to day. I want to come up and be more visionary and say, here's where I want to go. Let's all go there together. So I'm in this story where a lot of entrepreneurs are where like working in the business is fun, rewarding, it's great. It's also the ceiling to it. It's consulting with companies and trying to open up that and get to that next level is a challenge. So it'll be interesting. There are also things that I find I don't spend time on things that don't serve me anymore. I don't interesting. Like this last year officially retired from strongman and powerlifting because I had my time with them. I reconnected with myself and kind of also tested and said, do I want to keep training this way? And my knees were like, bro, you're done. Oh, good. Just to put it aside and say, I did it. I was good enough at it and leave it there. Focus more on the energy medicine stuff. There's going to be a time where I think, all right, you did this device, you wrote this book, you created this course, you help people. What interests you next? Is it being to become a somatic breathwork specialist, God forbid. It's like a normal transition, by the way. If you're awesome, by the way, and you read one like Dispenza book, you're like, I'm going to become a breathwork specialist.
Yep.
You change your name and you wear these. It's the whole thing. So I don't know. I always kind of go with the flow. I don't put timelines on things. I work with a calendar system to keep me honest beside things, but I'm so fluid or so much fluid in the way I approach my own development. There's not really like a timeline I can say of, I want to be out of this 3 or 5 years. So in that way, I could use the help of somebody saying, hey, in 2 years, you're going to sell this company. Let's back it up to today, and then I'll take steps towards it. And then you see some hands. Otherwise, I just kind of go with flow and they go with my sightseeing.
Yeah.
And I always say yes to it. That's like me to like travel the country and win the world when they do these jobs or these relationships. Because it's really, really exciting, new, fun, shinies over here. But it's a little different now than my 40s. You can't just pick up the back of your truck and go.
A little more decision process. Yeah. Yeah. What is your filter system for yes versus no's? What are you saying no to a majority of the things? I would imagine you get a lot of people asking you questions around strength and powerlifting and things like that. So what is your ratio?
Now I'm saying no more often. I used to say yes to everything to help everybody because I thought, okay, these are all that left me consciousness. My channel is 6'5", so I got them first. It's always sharing with you. But they are, at a certain point, they're a distraction from the work and mission I have. So I'm saying no to things a lot more often, especially from people who used to get it for free or want it for free. I think I just spent too much time in this space to get my outlet anymore. I'm tired of treating time for money. So I say there are things like, can we hop on a call and I can tell you about a client today? Can we
Yep.
I'll tell you about like my own medical things? And I'm not a doctor. I can tell you how the specific therapies I'm familiar with could help those things, but I really don't want to be in that trading time for money game anymore.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. It's a hard transition too, because it is addictive. It's definitely, I went through the same transition of loving that feedback, that immediate recognition of helping people. You get the people hugging you, crying on your shoulders that you changed their life. It's very inspirational. Great. Well, so what else should we talk about with this? As far as I kind of want to dig into some of the fun stuff of the crazy things that you've seen people do to themselves for the sake of getting stronger. Because I know that there's a lot of fun stories that you have around this of, these substances that probably are not recommended for the average person. What all have you seen as far as, just start listing off some of the fun stories is where I'm going with this.
I am looking up to attract people who are a little bit off, a little left of center in terms of their mental clarity. And they'll really open this up. I've seen people take hormones meant for horses. I've been hit up by like people brand new to the gym who are like 19 years old. Say, hey, can you get these steroids? Absolutely not. Your doctor can in about 15 years. I've watched people snort pre-workout powder and do a bloody nose and have to go to the urgent care.
But did they get energetic after that, or did they crash? I've always wondered that.
I don't know. I got to follow up and see. I got to think when you go to the ER, your heart rate's 160. You look at that, your nose, they're like, "Yep, that's okay." And like fitness is a swamp. It's a petri dish for fads. And I know that I use stimulation in my training. That can be seen as a fad too. But I think of like the shake weight and the trampolines and trying to for your limbs. There's so many things. People will do anything except the same thing over and over again. But hard week for years on end. And it really is the unsexy, boring compound lifts with accessories over the course of the 5-10 years that makes the biggest difference. The substances, and I've seen people say, "Oh, you got to take 2 grams of vitamin C a day. It helps your immune system." Well, out of a gram, you got to go to the bathroom every hour. 2 grams, you're not leaving the bathroom. There's no much to be had. And it gets into the illegal stuff about, different forms of steroids or the snacks I hear that not even good amateur athletes are taking for the sake of becoming not even good amateur athletes is mind blowing.
Yes.
I'm 23 and there's no way I've seen less than 20 people, 25 peers pass from like heart issues or stroke or aneurysm in the same group, because they get a little taste how good it feels to feel strong. It feels real good, friends. And they go, well, if this is good, more is better. You
Yeah.
know, more of this testosterone, more of this steroid. And they don't have the lifestyle or the mindset to support it, no one cough. So the most successful people I've seen at high levels, no one to hold, no one to fold, no one to let go on cycle, do the thing, come off and get support, and it's always guided by doctors. So if you're somebody who is a competitive athlete, somebody will say active performance, explore those things, but do it like with professional, not with Dr. YouTube.
Yeah. What have you seen as far as what is the current trend in Dr. YouTube around testosterone? Because obviously right now people like Huberman and Attia are really promoting TRT therapy, which I think is an extremely healthy thing. But what are the YouTube what's Dr. YouTube saying right now about all this? Because I know that recently there's just been a huge flood of that type of conversation.
Yeah, it's mostly propagated by men in their 20s, the British off apps who don't yet need testosterone therapy. So I have to draw notice to, like, you're not there yet. Get into your 30s and 40s, and we'll see how it goes. Some of the recent trends, they tie back to if some is good, more is better. There's less of a responsibility on the practitioner's part to maintain regular blood labs, which is dangerous, I think. I'm not a doctor, but I recommend anybody going to balance TRT should do labs every 12 weeks, get adjusting the dosage, potentially down based on the markers that come out of that. We're really looking at your long-term health and vitality here. People start stacking, like, oh, I'm taking 200 milliliters of test every week. And I found some Udol, which is like a fat-burning steroid. I'm going to take that for a little cut. And then their liver enzymes, kidney enzymes, or eye, they don't support that. So it's like the snowball effect. Getting into TRT for therapeutic uses, phenomenal. If you're over the age of 20 or 30, get your lab work done. And if you're below those normal ranges, do what you can to get rid of those normal ranges, first naturally and then with supplementation for injections.
Yeah.
Or if you're the addicted type, maybe, and you think if something's good, more is better, right, raise your hand, Dave. I see you over there. Then to just be aware of that. Be like, no, more isn't better. More could be dangerous for me. More is better in the short term. And I'm going to like how I feel when I'm 1 less 3, when my libido is excellent, when my mood is high. You know, I'm going to love being on. As much as you love being on a cycle, you're going to hate being off. It's going to tank your mental health. It's going to tank your libido. You're going to watch yourself waste away. You're going to get fat in places you weren't fat before. And it's going to be such a mind F. You're going to go, I'm going to go back on. Now I'm going to do more this time. And I'm never coming off.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get on the TRT, led by a doctor, regular lab work, and stay within those ranges, this really is about sustaining you on the long term. If you could be somebody who's 70, it still has, you know, a libido, feels final, and is active and is strong, you've won, friend. You don't have to be a bottle rocket who burns right and pops out early. You can be a long burn, slow burn, and be really successful in life.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's more and more of the research is coming out too, unfortunately, that it used to be maybe 10% of the population of males aged 30 to 40 were low in testosterone. Now we're seeing 50 and 60% of the population being deficient in testosterone and basic hormones of vitamin D and all of the things that go into it. So super important to get tested. Also, I just happen to be biased because I'm a true believer that the sooner you start collecting your data, the more intelligent you will be 10 years from now of being able to understand what's actually wrong with you when shit does hit the fan and things go wrong. Then you can actually backtrack your hormone levels, your thyroid, your testosterone, and actually see that maybe something's in the normal range right now, and it's normal 10 years from now, but it's at the other end of the spectrum, and that's not normal for you. So super important to get that data collected. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, well, this has been a blast. I know you're on a time crunch, and we are definitely going to get into these conversations again because I want to create a part 2, a part 3 with you. This is going to be fun. This is just the start. I feel like we're just starting to scratch the surface of some of the fun stuff that people want to hear about. But where can people find you? What are you up to? Where do you want to direct people so that they can go check you out?
I'm most active on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Get Sculpted by Clay. Pretty clever, right?
Right?
Years to figure it out. And then the professional one is Innovation ATS. Innovation, like the teeth metal with medical around you, nerves getting charges through them from the brain innervating.
Yeah. We'll put those links in the show notes as well.
Yeah. I should have picked an easier name to say. It's like Innovation ATX or Innovation.health. Over, you'll see a little bit of the work we do, people we serve, and if you're in the Austin area, it'd be up and let's say coffee, let's get beers, get a workout in, and so people get feel better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Clay. Thank you for choosing your own adventure and sharing it with us. Definitely, we learned a lot and feel very inspired right now.
Thank you. Same here. It's always a pleasure to know you and kind of say to like you do something about the things you're up to. And they say you're the son with the average of 5 people you spend time with. You're one of the 5 who I see that inspire me. Like, okay, Dave's doing this. That's one of my inspirations, actually. I think you'll have to any time you go to Peter something. So thank you for all your friendship and inspiration because it's helped me, like, I know you're just around the corner. I got to get you're for something. I want to catch up to you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Clay, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks.